fuck me. Okay. Uh, Sten, are you here? Because I'm going slightly mad here. I'm hearing myself at the exact same time that I'm talking. So it's like I don't know. It's like a clone. In movies where there's a clone and they're talking at the exact same time, that is what's happening to me right now, and it's inside my head, and it's. Can you hear me loud enough? Like, because if that's the case, I can just like turn the volume down. Like, well, that's the problem because then, like, if something happens on the computer or if I'm trying to listen into a game or music or like a movie, okay, you can hear me loud enough. Awesome. I was actually worried because I was, oh God, what was I doing? Oh, I was grabbing my cigarette pack, which was all the way on the other side of the desk, and I just touching it with my fingers, it sounded like I was rubbing my face like that all the way like 2 feet away. And I was like, oh fuck. This is a really sensitive fucking mic. And and I was following a tutorial on YouTube. And as soon as I get it to work, a siren outside fucking just ear rapes me. And I'm like, the fuck is that? So I mute the microphone in the audio settings on the speaker settings. And I'm like, oh, it's a fucking fire truck. Jesus Christ, this thing like ear piercing. Ugh. I also like because of the voice inside my head, I'm talking like Christopher Walken with pauses. Son of a bitch. Okay. Um, how you doing? I At least there's no echo for you guys. So, hey, awesome. Um, is there static like like the other microphone, which is for my laptop? Like, is it silent? Because I'm hearing like faintly like this whispery like static. It's weird. Okay, no static. Awesome. Just pure voice. Uh Squanch. God damn. There's always something fucking up for me. Well, my dad pretty much tried to tell me I had to write to feel sick and tired of him. You mean the right to feel sick and tired of him, or no right? Okay, had no right to feel sick and tired of him. Your father's an asshole. I'm just saying. Like, granted, my father has and can be an asshole, but I don't know. Like, he's never done what your father is doing or done. Like, I guess he he's a different kind of asshole, if that makes sense. I told him point blank I had every right, and that ended that. Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna turn the speakers off on here. Okay. Oh my god, the voice in my head is gone. I can talk normally now. Uh, though it will be a problem smoking cigarettes because I usually use my left hand. Um, I told him point blank I had every right, and that ended that. He's an authoritarian jerkass. See, now my father's the opposite of that. He's not authoritative. Never was. He was more like one of the guys. He was less a father, more a friend. And so that was his assholish part because like when it was time for him to step up to the plate, he just stumble and falter and like not do it. So like it was like the Wild West after my grandfather died. Like even now he does that. Yeah. Like if I like it like see with okay, I hate saying this, but like if you were to tell like I have the inkling that if you were to tell your father like I'm horribly depressed, your father would be like, "Well, get over it." Like get over it or go see a doctor. Go like do that. Like you have no reason to do that. Like that's how I feel like your father would react when I tell my father I'm horribly depressed. He immediately like tries to comfort me, but it's like the most awkward, cringy way. He's like, "Oh, well, have you tried not being sad? Like, you know what? You want to get ice cream? Let's go get ice cream." Like he cannot because he's never been a father. And so when his son is telling him like I am horribly depressed, he doesn't know how like he doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know how it's like his first day being a father and like his son is a 26-year-old man. And so he's like, "Oh, oh boy." Like but like if I was like I don't know, a 5-year-old and I was like, "I'm really sad cuz like my stuffed animal got ruined." Like his mentality is like just buy something. Like that's how my father has always been. Like when I was younger, like if a toy broke, he'd just buy me the same toy and replace it. Like that was his way of solving the problem, not like, well, you shouldn't be like manhandling your toys that way. Like I'm not buying you another one because you fucking threw it out the window thinking it could fly. No, like my father would be like, "Oh boy, like he's upset. How can I make him feel good now?" And he won't learn a lesson. My dad is more of trying to tell you how you feel. Like he thinks I'm scared of losing people when it comes to grandparents. Eh, that's some mighty fine assumption right there. God, my fucking jaw hurts so bad right now. To me, I've already come to terms that they are gonna die. Same, like that's the same way I am when it comes to elderly family. Like sooner or later, they're going to finally like get like I wouldn't even say give up, but like their body will. Like that's essentially dying. Like your body just can't continue. So it's like, yeah, fuck it. I've lived 70 plus goddamn years. I'm done. Clock me out. But like when it comes like the problem with my father's side of the family is that they are not good for like they cannot accept loss. They can't. Like a lot of people that in my like sphere of friends think that it's just me. Like I'm the like I just can't handle loss, and that's true. I'm probably the one of the most extreme cases, but my father is almost as bad as me. Like when my grandfather died, my father literally just put himself into a heroin induced coma. Like he just was spending thousands of dollars a day on heroin and just being a zombie all day, every day. Probably why I have a horrible substance abuse with alcohol. Thankfully, though, the difference between me and my father is that the alcohol does not run my life, and I feel like that's where I'm not an alcoholic. Like I can stop drinking whenever I want to. I just don't want to. Like, if my boss were to tell me, like, if you come into work, like, to, like, because I didn't go to work today because it's fucking uh it's fucking Leif Erikson Day, by the way. Happy Leif Erikson's Day, everybody. But let's see. When my Farfar died last year, it didn't bug me. I knew he was fading fast. Yeah, like I'm the opposite. Like I don't know. It's because I don't know. Like I can't make assumptions. I don't want to assume because everybody is different. Well, everybody like there's gradients to families. Like some people are very distant to their family, and so if somebody dies, it's water off a duck. Um, then there's other people that are so close to family that it's like a fucking bombshell. Like they witnessed a murder. That's how bad the loss is. I'm probably leaning towards that, but it's more because like I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like it's a closeness. Like there's always that closeness. I'm sort of the water off the duck thing. Okay. Like with me it's the opposite. Like with my grandmother passing. Like well at least you guys can barely hear the mic's barely picking up me closing the soda. Um see when it comes to me, like with my grandmother or my grandfather or my father, like they're all I have in this world. Like I have friends. Like I have fewer friends now than I did like last year. But like I don't know, like if you died or Dan died or Frank passed away or any like chemo or like anybody, like I'd be really fucking torn up about it because like it's 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 the emotional bond I have with you guys, but at the same time, it's that oh god, what's the term? I'm trying to think of the word. Uh I took it for granted. That's my problem. Like when that's probably the thing that fucks me up the most. Like with you guys or like with you guys, like when I wake up and I go to work, when I come back, I come online and I talk to you guys. That's my routine. That's all like it's as ingrained in my routine as taking off my shoes when I'm done with work. Like you guys are always there. You guys are like have always been there. Same with my father, same with my grandfather, coming home from school every day and seeing him sitting at the kitchen table, sipping his coffee with with his fucking dish towel hanging over his shoulder because he just finished cleaning dishes. Like that happening every day, 24/7. And then having that gone, you lose that familiarity. You lose that comfort and then you feel ashamed that you took it for granted. Like that's my problem. Yeah. Like it's why I hate change so much. It's why I hate change. It's why I'm very set in my ways. It's why I'm an old soul. Like I don't know. It just sucks. It really does suck sometimes when that shit happens. But then there's other people other family members I've never met and it doesn't affect me. It's just water off a duck. But then after a while it kind of gets to me because then I hear especially I wouldn't even say it's my mother's side of the family that affects me. It's more my father's side because my father's side is so interconnected. Like there's probably 3 times as many people on my father's side than my mother's side. And so if one of the family member like, if one of my cousins died, it affect me more in the long run because it's like, wow, I never like all of my cousins have such a deep-rooted love and respect for this person. I never took I never took the time to meet them. Like, I will never have that connection. Like, Christ, I remember meeting my father's great aunt. So she was my great great aunt once, and she lived on the same road as everybody else in my father's side of the family. She lived right next to the farm, and yeah, we only met her once, me and my brother, and my father talked so highly of her. She was such a sweet woman when we met her. We were kind of awkward because we had never met her, but she had met us when we were babies. And like that was the last time she saw us. And we must have been like 7, I must have been like 7 or 8 at the time. Yeah, like my father speaks highly of my grandfather's siblings, and I've only talked to one. My great uncle Jim. He's the one that fought in Korea and became blind because of a mortar shell. Like I've talked to him only just a handful of times, and like I haven't talked to him since, so I don't know if he's alive or dead. And if he has finally passed, I'm going to be so fucking crushed because he is such a gentle giant. Yeah. Plus, I also think when it comes to the whole family connection thing, it also deals with like how your family raised you. Like my father's side of the family is all about family. Like it's why every single one of my cousins has at least 3, 4 children. Um, it's why it's so fucking hard to keep track of them and know which ones are which. But like my mother's side of the family, like I only know of one cousin I have that has more than 2 children, and that's my cousin Karen. And I wouldn't say it was a competitive kind of thing, but like I was the first firstborn male in the family. Like I was the first male born to the family for like a generation. Uh, like my uncle Barney, uh, my uncle Barney was is a as you know a male, but he was oh Christ he's my grandmother's brother if I remember correctly, but he had 3 daughters. Uh, I believe it's 3 daughters. Oh God, I can't even remember if it's 3 or 4 daughters. I think it's 3 daughters because I know Sarah, Sam, and Robin are all sisters, and they're my cousins. But I also think Karen is one of the daughters. I can't honestly remember, but basically, Karen was I wouldn't say envious fully, but she wanted a son. So like she kept asking my father like how do you have a like how did you have a son? And my father's like I don't fucking know. Like I was just fucking I was just fucking and that's it. Like I was not like it's not a mental thing. You can't just go like you can't will them to be a son. And so she had she got pregnant like a year after I was born was when my cousin Alicia was born. And then my mother was pregnant with my brother Nicholas, and so she tried having another kid. And so that was Tatiana, and then after Tatiana, she had Destiny, and then after Destiny, she finally had a son, Matthias. And if I remember correctly, Matthias, let me check because I actually have his birth picture. There's Matthias. Oh God. Uh, no, it doesn't even have the date. Son of a bitch. Yeah, doesn't even have the date. I think I'm 10 years older than Matthias. I think I'm 10 years older than Matthias, or I'm like 11 years older. I like, it was a decade. Like, she had 4 kids in a decade or more, just so she could have a boy. That's the only cousin I have on my mother's side of the family like that. And so there's that. And then let's see. My younger cousins are Alicia, uh, not Tatiana, it's Tiana. Uh, Alicia, Tiana, Destiny, Matthias. My aunt's daughter's name is Lacey. Then there's Sarah has 2 kids, 3 kids. Sorry, 3 kids. Uh, Hannah, then Zachary, and then Christian. Christian's like 4 or 5 now. Uh, Sam has one, which is Alexandria or Alex. Robin has 2 daughters, Kylie and Sierra, and that's it really. That's those are my cousins under me. But like my father's side of the family, like oh fucking Christ, like my younger cousins have kids, and they have like 2, 3 kids, and so like I have second cousins or third cousins. I forget which ones they would be. I believe they're I believe they're first cousins to me, but their children are second cousins to me. Like if like it is just absolutely insane. Like the age gaps between on my mother's side of the family is like 10 years apiece. Like my cousins Sam, Robin, Karen, Sam, Sarah, Robin, and Karen are like 15 years older than me, or 10 years. I think they're 10 years older because my mother's 20 years older than me. And then my age difference towards all of them are the oldest being a year younger than me, which is Alicia, and she already has 2 kids. Um, to Christian. So like I'm 21 years older than my youngest cousin, Christian. But then on my father's side of the family, most of my older cousins that are like my father's cousins, they're like 20, they're almost 30 years older than me. Like my father's 27 years older than me, and most of his cousins were born around the same time as he was. Like all of them were mostly born in the 60s to late 60s. And I think the youngest is like Wally or Wallace, his full name, and he's like 20 years older than me. Um, and then their kids are like around my age. Just Jeff's oldest is I think a year or 2 older than me. Her name's Jenny. Then Justine is my age or a year younger than me, and then Ricky's girlfriend is my youngest cousin from Jeff, which is Jade, and she's 18. So I'm like 8 years older than her. And then my cousin Morris Jr., he's around my age or my brother's age. My cousin Chad, which is Morris's brother, half brother, he's around Nicholas's age. Morris might be a year younger than me. Um, little Oscar is like 10, 15 years older than me. My cousin Brandon, who went to jail, he's like 10, 15 years older than me. So like the age gap is heavier on my father's side, but there's just so fucking many of them. It's insane. Also, going back to your statement about like Cousin's Day and Cookie Day at Christmas, like that's how my family used to be. Like after my grandfather and grandmother kind of like separated and shit went to fucking hell in a handbasket, family wise. Like, we used to always have Thanksgiving together. We always had Christmas dinner together. Um, Now that that role's been swapped, where my aunt drags me to my mother's side of the family, like get-togethers for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Don't do that anymore with my father's side of the family, which sucks because it was so much fucking food, so much food, so much like it was like a Hobbit festival. It was so festive. It was so merry. Like, I don't know. It's like it was like a fucking Charles Dickens book. Like going to my aunt's house or going to my uncle's house and seeing everyone, everyone from the family just talking, like exchanging gifts right when they get into the door. There's like all the parents, like all the adults are drinking eggnog or booze and just having merriment and shit. And they're all laughing. Nobody's fighting. Like snow outside, fucking the smell of food cooking. There's always food that's already been cooked. Like my aunt Barbara would cook like four fucking turkeys. She'd have one already done, like at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Then she'd have one like 3 hours later. There's another turkey and another one after that, and so on and so forth. So that, like, if you came in at like 10 o'clock in the morning and you were hungry, you want some scrambled eggs with turkey, with mashed potatoes and gravy and all this, or do you just want a turkey dinner? Go at it. You can have whatever you want. Oh, I pretty much had no one to do anything with on cookie days, like age 12 to 15. We stopped when I was 17, so I was bored most of the time. My cousins Joe, Bob, and Ryan wanted nothing to do with me. They just play. I was like that in a sense where whenever I had family get-togethers, both sides of the family count for this story. Like when it comes to my mother's side of the family, like I'm like 8 years older than most of the cousins. And so by the time I was like, I don't know, 12, 13 years old, they were all like 5 years old. So, like, nothing really to do. Like, it's just a bunch of babies just running around. I'm like the only teenager. My mother's side of the family had some family friends that had kids my age. And I'm like, yeah, I don't even know you. So I just sit in a corner at a party and just play my Game Boy and play Pokemon or play a video game, and all the little kids would just congregate around me because it's Darth. Look how brooding and mysterious he is. And so they'd all fucking gather around and they just hang out with me, and then I'd get up and I'd walk away and I'd sit for like away from them, or I'd go into the house and just sit in the house to get away from everybody. Like, and I did that when I was a baby, like with my cousin Alicia and my brother, like, and Tiana, from what my father said, because he had to babysit all four of us one time. And he's like, yeah, you just pick up your toys. You pick up like your action figures or your blocks or whatever you were playing with at the time. You come sit over next to me on the couch and just play with them. And then like when like your cousins and your brother would come over to try and play with you, or they'd want to play with your toy, you just walk back over, grab another toy, and you go into your room and you just sit there by yourself playing. Like, I didn't see anything wrong with it. It's just you wanted your own personal space. You just wanted to play by yourself. Yeah, I just sat on the couch and played on my Game Boy, but they just hang out in other places. Yeah, like that's what happened more with my father's side of the family. Like, I am not a farmer. Like, I'm not. My cousins that are around the same age as me though are. They've lived on a farm, so they had a they like their family, so they have a closer familial bond with them than they do with me, even though I'm family. So they'd be all hanging out, drinking beer because they're underage and they don't want to get caught. So they're the cool kids. Let's sit out here and smoke cigarettes and drink a Budweiser, or Oh, I got my Uncle Den's fucking Heineken. I got that, so let's sit out here and drink that. And they just sit on a fucking barbed wire fence. Like they'd sit on the posts and just smoke cigarettes and then flick the butts at cows. And I'd be standing around going like, the fuck am I supposed to do around here? So I just mosey around, just walking around the woods. And then after like my grandfather's passing and shit like that, like my father just couldn't deal with it, so he wouldn't go around there anymore. So it sucked, but it happens. It happens. Let's see. I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna post this link on fucking on Facebook. See if I can get any other fucking weirdos in here. I'm telling you, it's weird with this fucking mic piece hanging next to my face. Like I'm so used to fucking just talking into my fucking speaker mic or my laptop mic, which is right above the screen. On my mom's side, the cousins close in age was Casty. Uh, and she was like 2 years older, but she wanted nothing to do with me. And her brother was like 3 years older than her, but he wasn't interested in hanging with the kid. Yeah, happens. I'm telling you, some families are kind of fucked up. And my older cousins just didn't want a thing to do with me. And of course, yeah, just shit sucks. Sucks a lot sometimes. God, I fucking hate that Jack and Coke. Like, Jack just fucking kills Coke's fizziness. Like, straight up, like it just becomes syrup. And sometimes I question myself, like, why the fuck are you even fucking drinking that? It's just syrup with whiskey in it. Like, it's not even appetizing. And I'm like, but it's so tasty. It's like, it's not tasty. Stop it. You stop it right now, Darth. It's not tasty. You need to stop. And so I'm like, fine, I'll just chase it. I'll take shots and chase it that way. Fuck it. There's an 8 year gap under me and my sister of two more cousins, and then like 13 years or so. Wow. Fuck. Christ. Me and Ricky have a 16-year gap going on 17 because he just turned 20. I think in June or May. So I got like a 16-year gap on him. And it's kind of weird hanging out with like a 20-year-old and like talking about shit that you're dealing with, and it's like, "Oh yeah, that's right, you're still a kid." And he'll be like, "I'm 20 years old." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you're still a fucking kid." Like, Christ, when I was like if I had graduated high school, like I don't know, like that's the weird thing. Like I was 17 when he was born. No. No, I wasn't 17. Yeah, no, no, no. I don't have a 17-year gap. I have a 7-year gap. Jesus Christ. Whew. I was gonna be like, oh wait, no, that like he'd be 10 years old, not 20. But like I was 7 years old. Like when I was 17, like working on a boat, you were still fucking like in elementary school. And like when my grandfather died and I had to start taking care of my household, like you were 7. Like you have not faced the hardships I have faced in my fucking 27 years on this earth. Like, and you're 20. Like, he's practically had things like spoon fed to him. Fuck. Also, Battlefront 2 servers suck. Like, I tried playing earlier and I was like, yeah, let's try and play. There is barely anybody playing, and the servers are so shit that you get booted. Like like it'll say connection to server lost, and I'm at 1 megabyte connection speed. Like my internet connection is like 3 megabytes per second, I think. So I was like, yeah, 1 megabyte shouldn't be so bad, and it is just laggy as shit. It really does. Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Fuck me. Okay, now you can hear me. Goody gumdrops. Yeah, I think this worked. It was pretty good. I think the test works. Mic works. Probably gonna have to fuck around and tinker with it so I don't have to hear myself speaking all the time. So that way I can listen to like video games when I finally start doing when I start streaming games while using this headset. Probably not going to be wearing my beanie or my hat while I'm doing this too, because that's kind of adding some pressure onto my ears, which is annoying me. Like it doesn't hurt or anything. It's just don't like it. But yeah, I think this worked. Um, let's just continue this chat in Skype because like I only did this stream just to fucking test the microphone to see if it works, and I think an hour, like practically like a 45, 50-minute video testing it proves good. Plus, I gotta go to the fucking I gotta go to 7-Eleven to grab some drinks for work in the morning. So I think I only got like, yeah, I think I'll have enough money for that. So thanks, Sten, for coming by and helping me test out the microphone quality. Uh, see you on the flip side.